Despite a 1-2 record, Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears are seemingly the talk of the NFL world. When the term generational is thrown around, these players are, whether valid or not, heavily scrutinized and every single move is being judged. Caleb Williams has faced some of the most scrutiny by not only any rookie, but maybe any player in the entire league, and has gone so far that some are already deeming him bust status. And the scrutiny has been dating back to his USC days due to some people not being a fan of him off the field, so naturally these people are quick to throw dirt on his name. Sure, he hasn't been great, but to exclusively place the blame on him when the offense isn't performing well as a collective unit is hilarious when you consider all factors such as the non-existent run game and the offensive line forgetting how to play football. And these conversations about Caleb come down to three recurring themes: expectations, comparison, and reality. The expectation for young quarterbacks over time has become more and more significant. When once upon a time, teams let the young QBs either sit and develop behind a veteran presence and get a good grasp of the offense, or they would let them go out there and face the fire and let them learn and grow from their mistakes, and give them multiple years before deciding whether or not to pull the plug or to give them bust status. And then there's a group that excelled straight away and pushed forward a new era of instant results, and rightfully so. And the expectations one has for a player that's deemed as generational is of results from day one. There's been very little allowed room for growth by these critics, as Caleb was expected to be a finished product week one and to be dominant from the get-go. And quite clearly, he's had his struggles, and when you come into the season giving your number one pick, 3 number one receivers, a running back coming off a great year in Philly, a very solid tight end, and a very good defense, you would expect that your generational quarterback should be flourishing, but that's not just reality. That is simply the expectations that everyone had for him. Justin Fields and Jayden Daniels. These two men are constantly being compared to Caleb. Justin, obviously the former Bears QB, now 3-0 in Pittsburgh, whether it's because of him or not. And Jayden, the number 2 pick who had an excellent start to his career and is the RG3 to Caleb's Andrew Luck. RG3's Heisman winner to Andrew's generational talent. We've all seen it. Should the Bears regret trading Justin Fields in order to get Caleb? Should the Bears regret drafting Caleb over Jayden Daniels? To have these conversations so early in Caleb's career is ridiculous. Not only is it too early to make any bold claims such as those, but comparing Game 1 Caleb to Game 3, it's obvious that who we'll be seeing in Year 2 will be leaps and bounds better than who he is today. Justin, a 4th-year quarterback not expected to will his team to wins and is there to manage the game and make the right play when necessary and is around his career averages when it comes to passing. And for what it's worth, he's playing very good, smart, winning football. Jayden Daniels, in a surprisingly well-rounded offense with, whether you liked him as a head coach or not, a very good offensive coordinator in Cliff Kingsbury that knows how to get the best out of Jayden and how to call a game. And Jayden is playing out of his mind, leading an offense that hasn't punted since week 1 and is coming off an historic week 3 win versus the Bengals that is not only one of the greatest rookie performances ever, but maybe one of the best quarterback performances ever. I understand the eagerness to compare due to their success in comparison to Caleb's lack of, but it's far too early and too small of a sample size to find out who they are as players. Rookie Peyton Manning is the perfect example, as he had thrown 6 touchdowns to his 14 interceptions by week 6 and was a completely different player to Year 2 Peyton, yet when using that as an argument against these detractors, it somehow doesn't count. The reality is, everything about Caleb is overcomplicated. People are trying to victory lap their takes on him based off their dislike for him off the field or to validate their personal draft rankings to give them some credibility. Whether you like him or not, the fact is, through his 3 games, he has grown leaps and bounds. That's not to say he hasn't struggled, which he absolutely has. The turnovers obviously stand out, and that's a part of the growing pains of being a young player. He needs to find his touch on his deep balls, and when trying to be elusive in the pocket or when protection breaks down, he's not able to work his magic as often like he did at USC. But the arm and all the throwing angles is there, the fearlessness to make and attempt tough throws some other QBs might avoid, being active all over the field and simply having the film that shows a lot more great moments than bad. The reality is, everything is there for him to be great, and at this point, it's just a matter of when he's going to have his breakout game. When they finally get a run game and an offensive line that realizes they're playing football and Shane Waldron stops calling an excessive amount of screens and calls a decent game for once, I know Caleb's going to show just why he was the first pick and the future of Chicago sports.